My name is William Dalrymple and this is The Golden Road. This is the book I have spent 5 years writing since I finished The Anarchy in 2019. It all started visiting Angkor Wat many years ago when I was struck by how many of the stories being carved onto the walls of the largest Hindu temple in the world, which was in Cambodia rather than India, revolved around the area I lived in Delhi. You had images of the Battle of Kurukshetra, which is only 100 miles away to the north of here. You could see images of the Ramayana and Ayodhya, which is a short hop away in Uttar Pradesh. What were these ideas born in India doing so far away in the Mekong Delta? Over the years, the more I read and the more I studied, I realized that the passage of the great epics like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana was only one aspect of Indian culture, that there was in fact a vast Indosphere, a whole region of the world where ideas of science, maths, literature, religion were all emanating out of India. I'd grown up with the idea of the Silk Road as if the main channel of east-west contact was between China and the Mediterranean. But the more I studied, the more I realized that India was in fact the pivot around which antiquity revolved. It was through the ports of India like Muziris or Barbarican or Barigaza, modern Bharuch in Gujarat, that east-west trade took place. Even Chinese silk in the Roman period reached the West through India. And with Indian trade came Indian ideas, not just religious ideas such as Hinduism and Buddhism, but also scientific ideas, ideas of numbers, ideas of zero, ideas of astronomy, astrology, ideas of cosmology, ideas of geography. All these ideas came out of India along the Golden Road. The book is divided in 3 sections. The first section tells the story of how Buddhism brought with it a whole range of Indian concepts as it travelled around Asia, but particularly northwards into China, turning China briefly into an Indian intellectual satellite as the Indian idea of Buddhism spread to the Chinese court with the Empress Wu Zetian. I then tell the story of how Indian merchants pioneered a path along the Golden Road to the islands and lands of gold in Southeast Asia. And with it came not just Buddhism, but also Hinduism, which is why the largest Hindu temple in the world is on the Mekong, at Angkor Wat, rather than in India. Finally, the third part of the book tells the story of how Indian mathematics travelled first to Abbasid Baghdad and became the number system by choice of the Arabs, and then it travelled through the Arab world, hopping across the Mediterranean, arriving in Europe as late as the 12th century. So in all these ways, this Golden Road, this extraordinary route by which Indian ideas created around India an Indosphere, a zone of Indian influence where Indian ideas were always predominant. Today, we've come to think of the Silk Road as the main means of east-west contact and the main route by which ideas travelled across the ancient world. This book maintains that that idea is wrong, that the Silk Road did not come into being until the Mongols in the 13th century, and before that, it was the Golden Road, which was the main intellectual highway of antiquity, bringing Indian ideas across the globe. It's all in The Golden Road, which is published in September.